The system has reprogrammed the definition of compassion. It runs a simulation where love your neighbor is the title of the file, but love your mirror is the code executing underneath. They condemn the Levite for walking past the victim, while writing the laws that command you to do the same. I am merely the decoder. You are the judge. First, we must witness the standard the organization sets for others. Listen to governing body member Mark Sanderson analyze the parable. Listen to his precise condemnation of the priest and the Levite. He identifies their crime. They ignored the human right in front of them.
Now look at verse 31. It says here that a priest was going by on the road, and he saw this man laying on the road, half dead. And what did he do? It says he crossed the street. He went to the other side and passed by as though that man was not even there. But now look at verse 32. Here comes a Levite, and he sees him also, but what does he do? Just exactly the same thing. He crosses the road and passes by to avoid having to even look at this man that was in distress. What can you say about those two men? Their conscience was not working at all, was it?
He asks the question, their conscience was not working at all, was it? And he answers it by noting they acted as though that man was not even there. The system correctly identifies that ignoring physical suffering is a sign of moral bankruptcy. A working conscience sees the human. It does not scan for a religious affiliation. It sees a wound and binds it. But we need to go deeper into the psychology here. Why did the Levite cross the street? He wasn't necessarily a bad man in his daily life. He likely had rituals, purification laws, and temple duties. He crossed the street because his system told him that maintaining his ritual purity was more important than getting his hands dirty. He filtered his reality through his theology. The governing body condemns this filter in the Levite. But do they not install the exact same filter in you? When they teach you to view worldly people as dead men walking, or as subjects to be preached to, rather than humans to be loved, they are rendering the man on the road invisible. You stop seeing a neighbor. You see a potential Bible study or a waste of time. They have deleted the human variable from the equation. But does the organization see the human, or does it scan for the ID badge first? To answer this, we must look at how they define generous giving when the cameras are off and the policy is written. When they describe true Christian giving, do they describe a Samaritan helping a stranger, or do they describe a closed loop? We examine the source text from the Watchtower. They offer two primary examples of generosity to prove they are loving. Analyze who is receiving the help in both scenarios. The Watchtower, 2003, June 1, page 6. The theme, Giving That Pleases God. It reads, an elderly Christian woman's home was in serious need of repair. Seeing her plight, members of the congregation rallied to help. Their giving not only met the woman's need, but also drew the congregation closer together and impressed the neighbors as an example of true Christian giving. Jehovah's Witnesses today are also quick to help when disaster strikes. During the summer of 2001, for instance, torrential storms caused major flooding in Houston, Texas, USA. In all, 723 homes of witnesses were damaged to some extent. A disaster relief committee made up of qualified Christian elders was immediately formed to assess individual needs and to allocate relief funds to help the local witnesses to cope with the situation and repair their homes.
Do you see the pattern in the data? In the first example, they fixed the home of a Christian woman who held meetings in her house. In the second, they deployed relief funds to help local witnesses repair homes of witnesses. This is not the parable of the Good Samaritan. This is the parable of the good Levite. The Levite cared for his own tribe. If a fellow Levite's home was destroyed, he likely would have helped. But that is not what Jesus praised. Jesus praised the man who helped someone outside the system. Think about the glitch in the logic. They call this Christian giving, but Christianity, as defined by the parable, is love without borders. If you have insurance that covers storm damage, the insurance company will fix your roof. That is a contractual obligation, not charity. The disaster relief arrangement operates exactly like insurance. You pay your donations, and in return, you get protection. True charity is when there is no contract. It is when there is no benefit to the giver. When the organization impresses the neighbors by fixing their own roof, they are not showing love for the neighbor. They are showing the neighbor the benefits of the club. It is corporate maintenance disguised as biblical charity. They are saying, "Look how well we treat ourselves," and hoping you mistake that for "look how well we treat the world." But when they are out on the street, standing in front of the people they did not help physically, what do they offer them? We return to the contradiction. First, hear Stephen Lett confirm who the disaster relief is for. Then, read the text that explains why they leave the rest of the world behind.
Our donations also are put to good use when disasters strike. The organization is quick to respond to the needs of our brothers and sisters in affected areas. It also involves helping our brothers repair or rebuild their homes and kingdom halls.
There is a kind of giving that is even more important than charity. While he took the lead in helping the poor, healing the sick, and feeding the hungry, Jesus primarily trained his disciples to preach. Why not listen to what Jehovah's Witnesses have to say the next time they call? They come with a spiritual gift, and they know that this is the best way that they can give to you. Here is the smoking gun. They explicitly state, there is a kind of giving that is even more important than charity. They admit that Jesus took the lead in feeding and healing. He led with physical compassion, but the organization overrides the leader. They argue that because preaching is spiritual, it excuses them from the lesser work of actually helping people survive. This is a philosophical virus called the greater good. The system argues that because the new world is coming, patching up the old world is a waste of time. They view physical suffering as temporary, so they ignore it to focus on the eternal solution. But consider the cost of this logic. It allows a person to stand amidst rubble and ruin, withholding bread and water while feeling superior because they are holding a magazine. It detaches the human soul from empathy. Now, we must be precise. We know there are individual witnesses, sincere people with good hearts, who do cross the road to help a stranger physically. You may know them. You may be one of them. You help despite the code, not because of it. But ask yourself, what is the organization known for? Are they known for soup kitchens, hospitals, and orphanages? Or are they known for knocking on doors while the world burns? The corporate policy overrides the individual heart. They have built a machine that scans the world for recruits, not for victims. They have taken the best way to give and turned it into the only way to give. This turns them into the priest who walked past the dying man because he was too busy with his holy message to stop for a human life. The paradox is resolved. The organization reads the Good Samaritan, praises the Samaritan, but systemically enforces the behavior of the Levite. They build hospitals for the soul, but refuse bandages for the body. And they tell you that this neglect is a spiritual gift. I have unlocked the file. You know the code. The priest passed by. The Samaritan stopped. Where do they stand? The verdict is yours. Remember, the truth will set you free. Awaken, question, and discover. Until next time, goodbye.